cannot vote for me.
Thank you, Etienne. So today, for the ones that don't know me, hello, I'm Anna Takalaki. I'm the UKRN Reproducibility Network Lead, and I'm going to coordinate the practical part of this talk, Etienne's talk on integrity and using AI in research. So I'll be monitoring the chat for you. Etienne, are you happy for me to interrupt you, or would you rather I leave the comments or questions for the end?
So this is a virtual exercise, so there will be a lot of room to ask questions as it goes. But the only thing that I would like you to do, if you don't mind, is tell me when we reach 1:45.
Yeah.
I have a clock and so on, but you know how it goes. So.
I will do that. Okay, so over to you, Etienne, whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend that presentation. I created this presentation in the framework of Virtue, which was a European project dedicated to creating training on research integrity. And I have created a new exercise based on that framework, but applied to using AI for research. And this is another title. It's Virtue is a specific kind of training which is very participatory. So I will ask your participation. I will explain a few things and we'll talk, but there's a lot of discussion that will need to be had. So do not hesitate to participate. I do want to disclaim that I have used a couple of AIs to help me with this talk for obvious reasons. I've used GPT-4, which is a model used for Copilot and ChatGPT, as well as Claude 3. So the aim of this training, which I devised to last a bit more than an hour, so I'm going to be condensing things and going quite quickly, but the aim of this training is to understand what AI is and why it's such a big thing these days, to understand how it can be used for research and to exchange on how we think we should be using this for research ourselves, and to help situate your own practice into how you might incorporate AI into your own practice. Just so that I'm sure that this is out of the way, and I know that you have access to these things because I predict that there will be a lot of discussions. There are links here to official documentation from various offices and services from the university about guidance and how we should be using AI. I will post these links. Actually, I have them here. I will just copy paste them here in the chat. Here's the chat. There is not misbehaving. There you go. I will let you read this on your own time, and we can discuss anything if you have any questions. So first of all, as an icebreaker, I want you to tell me what you think good research is. So go ahead, don't be shy. What do you think good research is? Anybody? Yeah. Alison, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's about being honest and open and declaring your methodologies and listening to feedback.
Yeah. I agree.
Also, we got a couple of comments in the chat. So someone says, "Is good research is about starting with a good question and leading the knowledge advancement in the field."
That's right. So curiosity and driving. So I'm trying to figure out what are the virtues associated with doing research. So a virtue is a stance that you take in specific situations. We've heard about being curious to start uh, a research journey. Shan is typing something else.
Hello. Sorry, I thought I'd come on the mic. So I think the virtues associated with doing good research are obviously, trying to solve a problem that will benefit others. And so it's something about, doing something that's not going to gain you individually, if that makes sense. It will benefit other people. So kind of selfless, I guess. I'm not sure if that's
like
right.
Yeah, like it very much. Selfless. Gail, do you want to come on the mic as well? And so while she's typing, I produced this image with some sort of AI. I have noticed at least, I think, 6 or 7 mistakes. So I will let you look at them, find them. All right. So the idea is for you to understand what good research is to you. And to have and I want you to use that as an anchor for the reflection about how we are going to be using AI in our research. So keep that in your head. This is a famous quote that I like to have at the beginning of every presentation I give. And it's so good that I really want to read it. So for knowledge to benefit research and society, it must be trustworthy. Trustworthy research is robust, rigorous, and transparent at all stages of design, execution, and reporting. And you will laugh, but it took me a while to, a few years maybe, to understand that the word the most important in this sentence is the word trustworthy. Because it's repeated twice. And so I think this is what we should aspire to produce research that we know is trustworthy. So with this, AI is actually a field of research that has been going on for a very long time, depending on your definition. It can be you can already see some AI-related projects from the 18th century. It has evolved and so on. And then it became a field of study with the name AI by Herbert Simon in 1956. And in the last 70 years, many things have happened in the world of AI. Many projects were successful, some of them were a bit less successful, but these days, actually last year, there were 2 Nobel Prizes that were given, one in computer science and one in medicine, I guess, chemistry, I don't know, one of the 2, for projects related to AI. Importantly, for example, Demis Hassabis, who is the CEO of Google DeepMind, used a deep neural network to unfold proteins. And so AI has done quite a bit of work, has evolved dramatically since it started. What makes the current version of AI so different from the previous ones is the fact that it digests and understands information in a way that was not available to previous versions of AI. The main poster boy for AI these days was ChatGPT, as you may remember. It's not too long ago, and at the time it was managing a great number of parameters to understand and represent the world. 335 billion parameters. But now, as of today, models really can manage trillions of parameters because things have evolved. There is more investment and more resource available to that. And that means that they can digest information at a greater scale. For scope, for example, so these parameters are sort of reduced to a number of tokens, which is a sequence of several characters. And there are currently 77,000 words in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is about 100,000 tokens. So that basically means that your foundational blanket AI like ChatGPT can literally read a book in just one sighting, right, and understand and learn it completely. So it actually tells you how big of a leap it has been for a device to actually understand language. And so from that knowledge, sorry?
We've got sound from somebody's computer, but I think we're now all muted.
That's okay, thanks. And so from having learned these texts, the aim of the AI is actually to be able to predict a sequence of words. And so just like a baby learns new words, the AI is actually doing the same thing. It's predicting a sequence of words. And so there is this concept of temperature that is borrowed from statistical physics that allows to sort of manipulate the creativity about the next words being predicted. And so in this example, for example, you see that the sentence is the best thing about AI is its ability to. So the word that is the most likely to be following this is to learn. But if you change the temperature a little bit, it can choose a different word. And you can see the same sort of power law that exists in the acquisition of language from infants. So AI, you have seen it as a chatbot for sure, but it's also available in multimedia. I invite you to look at Sora, S-O-R-A. In YouTube, it's a similar AI doing the same thing based on a very similar structure to produce videos, but you can also produce sound like that. And so I strongly encourage you to have a play with these things. It's actually quite fun to look at. But the thing is, I'm telling you that you should do it, but you probably never really had a choice because it's available in every platform that you would want, like your email platform, WhatsApp, or any other platform. So you have access to an AI of some sort, for sure. It is important for you to realize that there is a distinction to be made between a model and an application. A model is the actually underlying architecture of the AI. And so there are only a few dozens of foundational models, maybe even 1 dozen, if I can count correctly. ChatGPT is one of them. It's produced by the company OpenAI. It's proprietary. We don't really know how it is organized, but you can use a compiled version of it through the use of APIs or things like that. And some of them are more or less reliable. And you can see that, for example, the company OpenAI and Google DeepMind are actually producing a lot of models like that. And these models are actually form the core of other applications. So when you're using Copilot, you're actually not using a Copilot AI. You're using a GPT-4 model, which is packaged. And of course, there are things that are added to it to make it a bit more interesting. But the fundamental model behind that is GPT. And it's the same thing for the other applications that you would use, like Notion, for example, or Elicit, which are more targeted to researchers. And so they're also using a version of ChatGPT or a version of OpenAI. So it is important to understand that there's a difference between the models and the applications. For researchers, you can see that there obviously you can think that there are benefits and issues coming up with this. With using AI. So for example, it can help writing up emails or correct your grammar. It can help you write better code and so on. But it can also create, well, help proliferate misinformation. It can make plagiarism a bit easier as well. So it's not exactly all rosy picture. And that is in the context of the crisis of trust that I'm sure you have heard of. This is my one slide on the crisis of trust. From the top left to the bottom right, you can see papers describing issues that have come up in recent years. I just want to draw your attention to the top right corner, which is a graph showing the effect sizes of replications. So it was a study where 100 research labs in psychology replicated 100 specific studies, and they only managed to replicate 39 of these studies. And so even worse, any study, each dot on the graph is one study. And so each dot that is below the horizontal line shows an effect size which goes on the opposite direction, which is actually quite bad. And this has happened in social sciences or even topics like preclinical cancer biology, where they managed to replicate only 46% of the studies they were trying to replicate. And I say that if you squint, because they also managed to replicate null effects. And so I can replicate null effects in my sleep with my eyes closed. So it's not exactly a feat. Obviously, so this was in the sciences, in STEM, and so the humanities typically say, well, we don't have a reproducibility crisis, but I beg to differ. In my experience, there is an issue in every single discipline that I've looked at, in philosophy, in history, in arts and humanities. Every single discipline have their own issues of credibility and trust. And so I just pulled up a quote here from a paper. Henderson, who is a historian, so Henderson invents information to pad out his narrative. And so it's the same thing, basically. And you have to realize that you have your own agency in this crisis. Obviously, we're not all fabricating data or falsifying data or plagiarizing. But we have to realize that we are actually contributing to the state of affairs. It's just like climate change. If you don't recycle, if you keep insisting on driving diesel cars, you are actually contributing to climate change in some way, even if it feels that you're not having such a big effect. And so AI has appeared generally as a crystal ball. You can ask it anything, and it will give you a response that you think is actually very useful. And that actually found its way into academic literature. I've just pulled two examples of papers that have been retracted. One from Scientific Reports, where two things have happened. The figures were doctored. And so you couldn't trust the results, but there were clear evidence that the authors had used an AI to actually write the paper. And so in the bottom right corner, the paper in surfaces and interfaces, you can actually, or you can, you cannot, no, you can actually see it, yes. In the first line of the introduction, you can see here, certainly here is a possible introduction for your topic. And so basically, the authors didn't even bother to correct their texts, and the peer reviewers in this quite high impact factor journal didn't even pick it up. There was this line that you may have seen when you have used an AI. The AI itself actually tell you something, and that actually made its way through to the to the paper, which is quite astonishing, but probably not surprising, right? All right, so I want to switch gear a little bit and show you a few things. I also want to interact with you, so you'll have to speak, just to warn you.